Hello everyone, my name is Nico and David, and today I'm going to present chapter 6 for switching and routing essential. So this is my group members. First is Nico and David, second is Muhammad Adhal bin Haleh, Fatin Hazika binti Faisal, and Muhammad Al-Kawarismi bin Ehsan. So for me, I answer question number 1 until number 5. Question number 1. Which 4 steps are needed to configure a voice VLAN on the switch port? Choose 4. So number 1, I choose ensure that voice traffic is trusted and tagged with a COS priority value. Second is configure the switch port in access mode. Third is assign the voice VLAN to the switch port. And the fourth is add a voice VLAN. For the question number 2, when a Cisco switch receives untagged frames on an 802.1q trunk port, which VLAN ID is the traffic switch to by default? So the answer for question number 2 is native VLAN ID. Question number 3. A high school uses VLAN 15 for the laboratory network and VLAN 30 for the faculty network. What is required to enable communication between these two VLANs while using the router on a stick approach? So the answer for this is a switch with a port that is configured as a trunk is needed when connecting to the router. The explanation for this question 3 is with a router on a stick, inter-VLAN routing is performed by a router with a single router interface that is connected to a switch port configured with trunk mode. Multiple sub-interfaces, each configured for a VLAN, can be configured under the single physical router interface. Switches can have ports that are assigned to different VLANs, but communication between those VLANs requires routing function from the router. A multi-layer switch is not used in a router on a stick approach to inter-VLAN routing. For question number 4, a Cisco switch currently allows traffic tagged with VLANs 10 and 20 across trunk port FA0/5. What is the effect of issuing a switch port trunk allow VLAN 30 command on a FA0/5? So the answer for question 4 is it allows only VLAN 30 on FA0/5. Why does this happen? This is an explanation for the question 4. The switch port trunk allow VLAN 30 command allows traffic that is tagged with VLAN 30 across the trunk port. Any VLAN that is not specified in this command will not be allowed on this trunk port. So question number 5. Refer to the exhibit. The LS1 is connected to another switch, the LS2, via a trunk link. A host that is connected to the LS1 is not able to communicate to a host that is connected to the LS2, even though they are both in VLAN 99. Which command should be added to F01 on the LS1 to correct the problem? So the answer for this is switch port trunk native VLAN 66.
For question 6, the answer is the VLAN that is used by PCA is not in the list of allowed VLANs on the trunk. For question 7, the answer is native VLAN ID. For question 8, the answer is switch port trunk native VLAN 66. The answer for question 9 is configure the switch port interface with sub-interfaces, add a voice VLAN, assign the voice VLAN to switch port, and ensure the voice traffic is trusted and tagged with the COS priority value. Question 10, the answer is native.
My name is Mama Kwarismi and I'll be doing chapter 6, question 11 until 15. Question 11. Port FA011 on a switch is assigned to VLAN 30. If the command no switch port access VLAN 30 is entered on the FA011 interface, what will happen? Port FA011 will be returned to VLAN 1. When the no switch port access VLAN command is entered, the port is returned to the default VLAN 1. The port will remain active as a member of VLAN 1, and VLAN 30 will still be intact even if no other ports are associated with it. Question 12. A network administrator is determining the best placement of VLAN trunk links. Which two types of point-to-point connections utilize VLAN trunking? Choose two. Between two switches that utilize multiple VLANs. Between a switch and a server that has an 802.1.1q NIC. VLAN trunk links are used to allow all VLAN traffic to propagate between devices, such as the link between a switch and a server that has an 802.1q capable NIC. Switches can also utilize trunk links to routers, servers, and to other switches. Question 13. A high school uses VLAN 15 for the laboratory network and VLAN 30 for the faculty network. What is required to enable communication between these two VLANs while using the router on a stick approach? A switch with a port that is configured as a trunk is needed when connecting to the router. With router on a stick, inter-VLAN routing is performed by a router with a single router interface that is connected to a switch port configured with trunk mode. Multiple sub-interfaces, each configured for a VLAN, can be configured under the single physical router interface. Switches can have ports that are assigned to different VLANs, but communication between those VLANs requires routing function from the router. A multi-layer switch is not used in a router on a stick approach to inter-VLAN routing. Question 14. Refer to the exhibit. A network administrator need to configure router on a stick for the networks that are shown. How many sub-interfaces will have to be created on the router if each VLAN that is shown to be routed and each VLAN has its own sub-interface? 4 sub-interfaces. Based on the IP address and mask given, the PC, printer, IP phone, and switch management VLAN are all on different VLANs. This situation will require 4 sub-interfaces on the router. Question 15. What must the network administrator do to remove fast internet port FA01 from VLAN 2 and assign it to VLAN 3? Enter the switch port access VLAN 3 command in interface configuration mode. That's all from me. Thank you.